Good evening, night creatures. Tonight, we listen to the mythical history of Athena, goddess of wisdom. Close your eyes. Let your body become perfectly still. Feel every muscle releasing, every thought dissolving, drifting away like owl feathers on the wind. We are beginning a journey back to the age of gods, when wisdom wore armor, when strategy won wars, when the gray-eyed goddess ruled from Olympus. Let your breathing slow, deep, effortless, like the rhythm of ancient scrolls unfurling, like the whisper of wisdom passed down through ages, like the eternal patience of perfect knowledge. Part 1. The impossible birth and the making of wisdom. Settle deeper into stillness. Release all tension from your body. Let your forehead smooth, your jaw soften, your shoulders drop completely. Everything relaxes, everything releases, everything simply exists in perfect peace. We begin not with birth, but with prophecy, with fear, with a father's terrible choice that would shape everything to come. Breathe, slow, steady, as the ancient story unfolds. In the early days of Zeus's reign, when the war against the Titans was freshly won, when Olympus was new, when the young gods were establishing their rule, Zeus took his first wife, his first queen, before Hera, before the great marriage that would define his existence. There was another. Her name was Metis. Let that name settle in your mind. Soft, ancient, powerful. Metis was a Titaness, daughter of Oceanus and Tethys, born of the great river that encircled the world. She was beautiful, but her true gift was not beauty. It was her mind. Her name itself meant wisdom, cunning, craft, intelligent planning. She was the wisest of all beings, goddess of good counsel, of prudent thought, of strategic wisdom. She had helped Zeus during the war, had given him the potion that made Cronus vomit, that freed Zeus's siblings from their father's belly. She had been instrumental in the Olympians' victory. Zeus owed her everything, his freedom, his siblings' freedom, his throne. All of it came from Metis's wisdom, Metis's help, Metis's cunning plan. And Zeus loved her, respected her intelligence, valued her counsel above all others. She was perfect, the ideal wife for a young king who needed guidance, who needed wisdom to rule, who needed someone to help him navigate the complexities of divine sovereignty. They married. Zeus and Metis, king and counselor, ruler and sage. Together they governed. Together they shaped the new order. Together they brought peace and justice to the cosmos. It was good. It was right. It was working. Metis became pregnant, carrying their first child, a daughter, who would be wise, brilliant, extraordinary. Zeus was happy, excited to become a father, eager to meet this child, who would surely be magnificent, born of his power and Metis' wisdom, the perfect combination. But then, Gaia came to Zeus, his grandmother, the earth herself, ancient, all-knowing, bearing a prophecy. Rest, as the prophecy unfolds, as fate speaks its doom. Metis will bear 2 children, Gaia said. First, a daughter, the wisest of all beings, greater even than her mother, a blessing, a gift, a goddess worthy of honor. But then, a son who will be stronger than his father, a son who will overthrow you, just as you overthrew Cronus, just as Cronus overthrew Uranus. The cycle will continue. The pattern will repeat. Son against father, generation against generation, unless you act. Zeus was horrified, terrified. The same fate that had haunted his father now threatened him. He had fought so hard to win his throne, had suffered imprisonment in Cronus's belly, had led a 10-year war, had defeated the Titans, had claimed his rightful place as king, and now his own son would overthrow him. The prophecy would continue, the cycle would repeat. No, he would not let it happen, would not become his father, would not be overthrown, would not lose everything he had won. But what could he do? He did not want to swallow his children like Cronus had, did not want to imprison them, to be that kind of king, that kind of father. There had to be another way, a better way, a more complete solution. Sink into his decision, into the terrible choice, into the moment that would create everything. Zeus challenged Metis to a shape-shifting contest, a game, a test of skill. Metis, proud of her abilities, confident in her powers, eager to demonstrate her talents, agreed without suspicion. She trusted Zeus, loved him, believed in him, never imagined he would hurt her. They began to transform. Metis shifted into many forms. A bird, soaring, graceful. A lion, powerful, majestic. A serpent, sleek, dangerous. A flame, bright, dancing. Each transformation perfect, beautiful, demonstrating her mastery of shape and form. Zeus matched her, shifting through the same forms, challenging her, encouraging her, pushing her to go further, to show the true limits of her power. "Can you become something small?" he asked. "Something tiny? Can you show me the extremes of your craft?" Metis, never suspecting, never imagining betrayal, transformed herself into a fly, small, delicate, helpless, demonstrating the finest control, the ultimate skill, so tiny, so vulnerable, so completely at his mercy. And Zeus opened his mouth and swallowed her. Let the horror touch you, then dissolve. Ancient, distant, already becoming myth. Metis was trapped, inside Zeus, inside the king's divine body, still alive, still conscious, still herself, but imprisoned, unable to escape, unable to be. She had been betrayed by the one she loved, by the one she trusted, by the one she had helped save. Her wisdom, her cunning, her strategic mind, all turned against her in the end. She had been too trusting, too loving, too confident that Zeus was different, better, not like Cronus, not like the fathers before. But Zeus had become what he feared, had repeated the pattern, had imprisoned to prevent prophecy. The cycle continued, just in a different form, not swallowing children, but swallowing the mother, pregnant with the children. It was efficient, complete, terrible. Inside Zeus, Metis existed, still pregnant with the daughter, the child growing, developing, but now inside Zeus himself, inside the king's body, in an impossible space where normal laws did not apply. And Metis, trapped, unable to do anything else, unable to escape, unable to live. She did what she could. She continued to counsel. Her voice spoke in Zeus's mind. Her wisdom became his wisdom. Her intelligence merged with his. She advised him, guided him, helped him rule, even trapped, Even imprisoned, even betrayed, she continued to serve, to help, to be what she had always been, wisdom itself. Breathe deeply as months pass, as the impossible pregnancy continues, as something miraculous prepares to happen. Zeus began to feel strange, a pressure in his head, building, growing, becoming unbearable. The child inside him, inside his body, inside his very brain. She was ready to be born, demanding release, pressing against the boundaries of his skull. The headaches started. Terrible, blinding, beyond anything Zeus had experienced, beyond any wound in battle, beyond any pain the thunderbolt could inflict. This came from within, from the goddess child growing in his mind, from Metis' daughter, from wisdom itself, demanding to be born. Zeus called for Hephaestus, the smith god, master craftsman, god of forge and fire, his son from his marriage to Hera, or born of Hera alone in some tellings. The stories vary, but the skill does not. Hephaestus was the greatest craftsman who ever lived, could forge anything, fix anything, create miracles from metal and fire. Please, Zeus begged, his dignity abandoned in agony. Strike my head, split my skull, release this pressure, end this pain. I command you, I beg you, help me. Hephaestus was terrified. To strike the king of gods, to wound Zeus himself, to split the skull of the most powerful being in existence? What if something went wrong? What if Zeus died? What if the blow was too weak or too strong? The responsibility was crushing, the fear overwhelming. But Zeus's pain was real, his command was clear, his need was desperate. And Hephaestus, despite his fear, despite his hesitation, was a son, was a craftsman, was someone who helped, who fixed, who made things right. Rest now, as the hammer is raised, as the impossible birth begins. Hephaestus took his hammer, the same hammer he used to forge thunderbolts, to shape divine weapons, to create wonders beyond mortal comprehension. He hefted it, felt its weight, its perfect balance, its power. He approached Zeus, who had removed his crown, who was kneeling, who was ready, desperate for relief, desperate for release, desperate for this to end. Hephaestus positioned himself carefully, measured the distance, the angle, the force required. Too little and nothing would happen. Too much and Zeus might die. It had to be perfect, precise, exact. He raised the hammer, took a breath, and struck. The hammer connected with Zeus's forehead, right between the eyes, right at the spot where the pressure was greatest, where the pain was most intense, where the child pressed most urgently. The divine skull split, opened like a door, like a flower blooming, like the sky parting. And from inside Zeus's head, from within his very mind, from the place where thought itself originates, she emerged. Let your mind see her. Glorious, terrible, perfect, impossible. Athena, goddess of wisdom, born fully grown, fully armed, fully formed. She did not emerge as an infant, did not crawl forth weak and helpless. She leaped from her father's skull as a woman, as a warrior, as a goddess complete and ready. She wore golden armor, brighter than the sun, each piece perfectly fitted, perfectly crafted, a breastplate that gleamed, greaves that shone, a helmet crested with horsehair, all gold, all magnificent, all divine. She held a spear, long, sharp, perfectly balanced, a weapon that could pierce anything, that could strike with ultimate precision, that could win wars with a single thrust. She carried a shield, the Aegis, made from the hide of the goat Amalthea, the same goat that had nursed Zeus as an infant, given to Athena as protection, as connection to her father's past. Later, she would add the head of Medusa to its center, making it even more powerful, even more terrible. But even now, at her birth, it was formidable, unbreakable, proof against any attack. Her eyes were gray, not blue, not brown, but gray, the color of storm clouds, of morning mist, of wisdom that sees clearly, that perceives truth, that misses nothing. Her gaze was sharp, penetrating, all-knowing. When she looked at you, she saw everything, understood everything, judged everything. Her hair was dark, bound back, practical, not flowing loose for beauty, but restrained for function, for battle, for work. She was not a goddess of vanity, of decoration, of useless beauty. She was a goddess of purpose, of function, of getting things done. She was tall, taller than mortal women, tall as a warrior, built for strength, for endurance, for combat. Her body was not soft, not yielding, but hard, muscular, capable. She could fight, could march, could endure. She was not decorative. She was functional, perfect, powerful. And as she emerged, as she took her first breath, as she stood before all of Olympus, she gave a war cry. Breathe as the cry echoes. Feel it in your bones. Distant, safe, awesome. A sound that shook the mountain, that made the other gods step back, that announced to all creation, a great goddess has been born. A power has entered the world. A force to be reckoned with has arrived. The cry was not of pain, not of infant weakness, but of strength, of power, of divine authority. It said, I am here. I am mighty. I am Athena. And the cosmos would never be the same. Zeus's headache vanished instantly. The pain that had been crushing, unbearable, driving him to desperate measures, simply ceased, gone as if it had never been. The wound in his skull closed, healed, disappeared, leaving no scar, no mark, no evidence of the impossible birth except the goddess standing before him. And Zeus looked at his daughter, his firstborn child, born from his head rather than a mother's womb, born from his mind rather than his body, born from wisdom itself rather than physical union. And he loved her, immediately, completely, utterly, fiercely. Athena was his, born of his essence, sprung from his very thoughts. She was him, in a way no other child could be, not born of his body but of his mind, not created through lust but through wisdom, not a product of passion but of prophecy. She was special, unique, perfect. Sink deeper as we explore what this birth means, what it symbolizes, what it creates. Athena was born without a mother, or rather, her mother was trapped inside Zeus, was Metis still, but unreachable, voiceless except as the wisdom in Zeus's mind. Athena never knew Metis, never met her mother, never heard her voice except as instinct, as intuition, as the wisdom that flowed through her from birth, from the source of all cunning, all strategy, all intelligent thought. This made Athena entirely her father's daughter, entirely Zeus's child, She owed him everything, her existence, her birth, her life. She came from him, in the most literal sense possible. She was part of him, made manifest, made separate, made into her own being, but forever connected, forever his, forever loyal. She could never overthrow him, could never betray him, because to betray Zeus would be to betray herself. To overthrow him would be to overthrow her own origin. She was too much a part of him, too connected to his mind, too merged with his wisdom. She was safe. The prophecy was thwarted. The son who would overthrow Zeus could never be born now, because Metis was trapped. The mother was gone, and the daughter was absolutely loyal, absolutely devoted, absolutely Zeus's own. This was why Zeus could love her so much, could trust her so completely, could make her his favorite above all other children. Because she was safe. She would never betray him, never challenge him, never threaten him. She was the perfect child, born of wisdom, loyal by nature, devoted by necessity, powerful but not dangerous, at least not to him. Rest. As we watch Athena take her place on Olympus, as she begins her eternal role, Zeus gave her a throne beside his own, not where Hera would eventually sit, not the queen's place, but to his right, the place of the trusted advisor, the place of the counselor, the place of the one who speaks truth, who offers wisdom, who helps the king rule well. Athena sat there, and she became Zeus's right hand, his most trusted advisor, his wisest counselor. When he faced difficult decisions, he asked Athena. When he needed strategy, he consulted Athena. When he wanted truth, he turned to Athena. She was the daughter every father dreams of, wise, loyal, helpful, perfect. The other gods accepted her. How could they not? She had been born with such drama, such power, such clear divine authority. She was formidable, immediately, from the moment of her birth. No period of weakness, no time of dependence, no infancy to survive. She was born ready, born strong, born capable, a goddess from the first breath. But what was she goddess of? What was her domain? What power did she embody? Wisdom. Yes, that was clear. She was born from Zeus's mind, born from Metis trapped within, born from the union of power and wisdom. She was intelligent, strategic, thoughtful. She saw patterns, understood consequences, planned ahead. This was her nature, her essence, her gift, but also war, battle, combat. She was born armed, born in armor, born giving a war cry. She was a warrior goddess, a deity of combat, of conflict, of fighting, but not like Ares, not blood and violence and rage. Athena's warfare was different, strategic, planned, purposeful. She fought to win, not to destroy, fought with intelligence, not with fury, fought with tactics, not with bloodlust and craft, skill, artistry. She was born perfect, born fully formed, born knowing everything she needed to know. This perfection extended to crafts, to skills, to the arts of civilization. She knew weaving, pottery, carpentry, architecture, all the skills that turn raw materials into useful things, that create civilization from chaos, that build rather than destroy. She was the goddess of cities, of civilization itself, of humans living together in organized ways, creating laws, building structures, developing culture. All of this fell under Athena's domain. She was the patroness of civic life, of ordered society, of humans reaching their potential through cooperation and organization. Breathe deeply as we turn to Athena's nature, her personality, her character. Athena was controlled, always controlled, never emotional, never irrational, never led by passion or desire or fear. She was pure thought, pure reason, pure wisdom. Her decisions were always logical, always strategic, always aimed at the best outcome. She did not act on impulse, did not indulge in drama, did not waste time on unnecessary emotions. This made her effective, powerful, successful. She won, always, because she planned, because she thought ahead, because she was smarter than her enemies, smarter than her rivals, sometimes even smarter than her friends. She could outthink anyone, outplan anyone, outmaneuver anyone. This was her power. This was her strength. This was what made her great. But it also made her cold, sometimes distant, hard to know, hard to love. She did not show weakness, did not reveal doubt, did not express vulnerability. She was armored, always, not just in bronze and gold, but in self-control, in dignity, in the fortress of her mind. She let no one in, trusted no one completely, except Zeus, only Zeus, only Father, only the one from whom she came. She was a virgin goddess, like Artemis, like Hestia. She never married, never took a lover, never had children, not because she was incapable of love or desire, but because she chose not to, because marriage and childbirth and all that came with it would compromise her independence, her autonomy, her power. She chose to remain free, remain her own, remain uncomplicated by the bonds that limited other goddesses. This was unusual, radical even. Most goddesses were defined by their relationships to males, wives, mothers, daughters, lovers. But Athena was defined by herself, by her own qualities, her own achievements, her own worth. She needed no male to complete her, no husband to validate her, no son to give her purpose. She was complete, whole, sufficient in herself. Sink into this understanding, this radical independence, this fierce autonomy. This came from Zeus, from her fathers. This came from Zeus, from her father's nature, from being born from the mind of the most competitive god, the one who had to be supreme, had to be king, had to rule. Athena inherited this, magnified it, made it her own. She competed in everything. In wisdom, obviously, no one could match her intelligence, her strategic thinking, her ability to plan and execute. She was supreme, unmatched, the wisest being in existence, even wiser than Metis had been, even wiser than Zeus, though she would never say so, would never challenge her father openly. But everyone knew Athena was the smartest, the most intelligent, the wisest. Always. She competed in warfare, against Ares especially, the god of war, her brother, her opposite. Where he was rage, she was strategy. Where he was bloodlust, she was planning. Where he was chaos, she was order. They competed constantly. And Athena always won, because intelligence defeats strength, because strategy defeats rage, because wisdom defeats violence. Always, eventually, in the end, she competed in craft, against anyone who dared claim skill, against mortals especially, who sometimes foolishly thought they could match a goddess. She would accept challenges, would compete, would destroy those who dared claim equality, not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. to maintain order, to remind mortals of their place, to ensure that divine supremacy was acknowledged, respected, never questioned. Rest now, as the first part draws to a close, as Athena's nature becomes clear, as the goddess takes her place. Athena, born from Zeus's mind, born without mother, born fully formed, was wisdom incarnate, was strategic warfare embodied, was craft and skill personified, was civilization itself made divine. She was gray-eyed, sharp-minded, clear-sighted. She saw truth, understood reality, navigated complexity with ease. She was Zeus's favorite, his right hand, his most trusted advisor, the daughter who would never betray him, never overthrow him, never threaten him. She was safe and powerful. The perfect combination. The ideal child for a paranoid king, for a father who feared prophecy, for a god who needed wisdom but also needed control. She sat on her throne beside Zeus, and she ruled, not as queen. That was Hera's role, but as counselor, as advisor, as the voice of wisdom speaking to power, tempering strength with intelligence, guiding force with strategy, making Zeus's rule wiser, better, more effective, more just. In myth, in history, in the human mind, as wisdom, as strategy, as the goddess who thinks before she acts, who plans before she fights, who wins through intelligence rather than strength, always, forever, eternally. Breathe, deep, slow. Let the story settle into your consciousness, into your dreams, into the place where myth and truth merge. Sleep beckons, gentle, patient, inevitable. Let yourself drift toward it. Let Athena's gray eyes watch over you. Let wisdom guard your rest. Let the goddess protect your dreams. Float now, between waking and sleeping. Part 2 awaits, but there is no hurry. The stories are eternal. They will wait. Rest comes first. Always. Let go. Part 2. Contests, champions, and the city of Athena. Deeper now, deeper still. You float in perfect darkness, in absolute stillness, in the space where consciousness barely persists, where you exist but barely know it, where peace is complete. Breathe. Barely. Like the whisper of owl wings in night, like the sigh of ancient stones. Almost nothing. Almost everything. Athena sat on her throne beside Zeus, goddess of wisdom, and she watched the mortal world, watched humans struggling, building, creating, trying to rise above chaos, trying to create order from disorder, trying to become civilized. And she helped them, guided them, taught them, because that was her nature, her purpose, her divine calling. Let that purpose unfold, gentle, patient, eternal. Athena taught humans many things, many skills, many crafts, the arts of civilization. She showed them how to tame horses, how to build chariots, how to harness animal power for human purposes. Before Athena, horses were wild, dangerous, useless. After her teaching, they became transportation, became agriculture, became power, became essential. She taught them shipbuilding, how to take trees and make boats, how to cross water, how to trade between islands, how to explore, how to expand. The ship was her gift, her invention, her contribution to human progress. She showed the first shipwrights how to choose wood, how to shape planks, how to seal hulls, how to raise sails, how to navigate by stars. All of it. Athena's wisdom, Athena's gift. Mortal women how to take thread, and make mortal women how to take thread, and make cloth. How to create patterns, how to weave images, how to make art from fiber, how to clothe humanity in something beyond raw animal hide. This was civilization. This was culture. This was Athena's doing. She taught them olive cultivation. The olive tree was sacred to her. She knew everything about it. How to plant, how to prune, how to harvest, how to press, how to extract oil. She gave this knowledge to humans, gave them a crop that would sustain them, feed them, light their lamps, enrich their lives. The olive was her gift, her symbol, her blessing to humanity. Sink into these gifts, into this generosity, into the goddess who helped rather than hindered. But Athena was also proud, fiercely proud. She was the best at everything she did, and she knew it. And she expected others to acknowledge it, to respect it, to never, ever challenge it. And when mortals forgot, when they grew arrogant, when they dared claim to equal a goddess, Athena reminded them of their place, of divine supremacy, of the gap between mortal and immortal. The lessons were harsh, memorable, eternal warnings preserved in myth. Rest as we witness one such lesson, one such reminder, one such contest. There was a mortal woman, young, talented, proud. Her name was Arachne. She lived in Lydia, a region known for purple dye, for textile production, for weaving, and Arachne was the finest weaver in all the land. Perhaps the finest mortal weaver who ever lived. Her tapestries were magnificent, perfect, so detailed, so beautiful, so masterfully crafted that people came from across the known world to see them, to marvel, to purchase, to commission. She was famous, celebrated, honored. And this fame, this celebration, this honor went to her head. Pride, hubris, the deadliest sin a mortal could commit, the one sin the gods never forgave. She began to boast, to claim, to declare that she was the finest weaver in all existence, not just the finest mortal, but the finest being, better than any goddess, better even than Athena herself. People warned her, begged her to stop, to show respect, to honor the gods, to acknowledge divine supremacy. But Arachne refused. She was too proud, too certain, too confident in her skill. She said, "If Athena thinks she is better, let her prove it. Let her compete with me. Let us weave and see whose work is superior. I do not fear comparison, because I am the best." Breathe as the challenge reaches divine ears, as Athena hears and responds. Athena came to Arachne, disguised as an old woman, a crone, bent with age, leaning on a staff. She spoke gently, kindly, warned the young weaver. "Child, you are skilled, talented, gifted, but you are not wise. Do not challenge the goddess. Do not claim equality with divine beings. Honor Athena. Acknowledge her supremacy. Ask forgiveness. And perhaps she will be merciful." But Arachne laughed, mocked the old woman, dismissed her warnings. "Let Athena come. Let her compete. I do not fear her. I will prove that mortal skill can equal divine power, that hard work can match divine gift, that I, Arachne, am the greatest weaver in existence. The old woman straightened, the disguise fell away, and Athena stood revealed, tall, terrible, grey eyes blazing. You wish to compete with me? Very well. Let us weave. Let us see whose work is superior. But know this, if I win, if your pride is proven false, the punishment will be severe, will be memorable, will be eternal. Are you certain you wish to continue? Arachne, too proud to back down, too arrogant to see her danger, too foolish to understand what she faced. Agreed. Yes. Let us compete. Let all see that I am the greatest, that even gods can be surpassed. 2 looms were set up, side by side, the finest looms, the best materials, the perfect conditions. A crowd gathered, gods and mortals both, to witness, to judge, to see divine power face mortal pride. Sink into the contest, into the weaving, into the creation of art. Athena began to weave. Her fingers moved faster than sight. The shuttle flew, the threads interlaced. The pattern emerged perfect, flawless, beyond description. She wove a tapestry showing the contest itself, showing gods sitting in judgment, showing mortals who had challenged divine supremacy, and showing their punishments. She wove 12 scenes around the border, 12 warnings, 12 examples of what happened to those who claimed to equal gods, each one detailed, perfect, clear, a warning, a threat, a promise. In the center, she wove the gods in glory, Zeus on his throne, Poseidon with his trident, herself with her spear, all the Olympians, magnificent, powerful, supreme. The message was clear. Gods are superior, mortals are inferior. This is truth. This is reality. This is unchangeable. Her technique was perfect. Her colors were vibrant. Her details were impossibly fine. Every thread was exactly right. Every image was precisely rendered. It was not just weaving. It was art. It was mastery. It was divine perfection made manifest. Arachne wove as well. Her fingers flew. Her skill was genuine. She was truly talented, truly gifted, truly one of the finest weavers who ever lived. Her tapestry was magnificent, beautiful, masterful. But her subject, her choice of image, her message was unwise. Rest. As we see what Arachne created, what she dared to show, Arachne wove scenes of the gods' misdeeds, their failures, their crimes. She showed Zeus's transformations, his seductions, his rapes. Zeus as bull carrying Europa, Zeus as swan taking Leda, Zeus as golden rain impregnating Danae. Every sordid affair, every divine assault, every moment of godly weakness, displayed, rendered, mocked. She showed Poseidon's violence, Apollo's failures, the gods' petty conflicts, their cruelties, their injustices, everything mortals whispered about but dared not say. Arachne wove it, showed it, made it permanent, made it art. The tapestry was perfect, technically flawless. The skill was undeniable. The beauty was real. Even the gods could not fault the execution. The weaving itself was equal, to Athena's. Perhaps even superior. But the content, the subject, the message was unforgivable, unacceptable, intolerable. Breathe deeply as Athena sees, as she understands, as her rage builds. Athena looked at Arachne's tapestry, saw the skill, acknowledged, silently, privately, that the girl's technique was comparable to her own, that mortal hands could, perhaps, create work of divine quality, that hard work could, maybe, match divine gift. But then she saw the subject, saw the mockery, saw the disrespect, saw her father, her beloved father, shown in humiliation, in weakness, in shameful acts, rendered perfectly, made permanent, made art. And her rage, her cold, terrible, controlled rage, ignited. Your skill is great. Your technique is great. 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 Your skill is great. Your skill is great. Your technique is masterful. But your wisdom is nothing. You have no understanding, no respect, no sense of what should be hidden, what should be honored, what should be feared. Athena raised her hand and struck, not Arachne, but the tapestry. The shuttle flew, threads tore. The perfect work was destroyed, ripped, ruined. Years of practice, hours of creation, perfect technique, magnificent art, destroyed in moments by a goddess's rage. Arachne stared, devastated, her life's work destroyed, her masterpiece ruined, her proof of skill eliminated. She had won, or had come close enough to winning, and Athena had destroyed the evidence, had eliminated the proof, had ensured that no one would ever know how close a mortal had come to divine perfection. The girl felt despair, crushing, total, complete. She had challenged a goddess, had come so close to victory, and had lost everything, not just the contest, but her work, her proof, her dignity. Everything was gone, destroyed by divine rage. She took rope, fashioned a noose, prepared to hang herself, to escape the shame, to end the humiliation, to find in death the peace denied in life. But Athena stopped her, not out of mercy, but out of additional punishment. Let this horror unfold, then dissolve. Ancient, distant, a warning preserved. You wish to weave? Athena said. Then weave, forever. But not as you are, not as human, not with hands, but as you have shown yourself to be, as something less, as something suitable to your pride, your arrogance, your foolishness. Athena touched Arachne, and transformation began. The girl's body shrank, compressed, changed. Her arms merged with her body, became legs, 8 legs. Her fingers became spinnerets. Her beauty became alien, arthropod, arachnid. Arachne became a spider, the first spider, forever weaving, forever creating webs, forever making art from silk, but trapped in a form, alien, frightening, diminished, punished for pride, for challenging the unchallengeable, for claiming equality with the divine. And all her descendants, all spiders, would be arachnids, would be named after her, would forever weave, but never create art as she had, never achieve the perfection she had reached, never come so close to divine skill. It was a punishment, a warning, a lesson, preserved in every spider's web, in every silk strand, in every creature that weaves and catches and kills. Pride leads to fall. Challenge leads to destruction. Mortals, know your place. Rest now, as we turn from this harsh lesson to a gentler story, a contest of different nature. Athena did not only compete with mortals, she competed with other gods, for cities, for worship, for honor, for the right to be patron, to be supreme, to be chosen. The greatest such contest, the most famous, the most significant, was for a new city in Attica, a settlement on a rocky outcrop overlooking the sea, strategically placed, defensible, with a natural harbor. It would clearly become important, wealthy, powerful. Both Athena and Poseidon wanted it. Both claimed it. Both insisted they should be patron. The competition was fierce. The stakes were high. A great city, a famous city, a city that would last millennia. The one who won it would be honored forever, worshipped eternally, associated with civilization's heights. It was worth fighting for, worth competing for, worth demanding. But the gods agreed, not to fight, not to war, but to let the mortals choose. Each god would offer a gift. The better gift would win the city. The mortals would decide. Democracy, even among gods, even in divine contests, the people would choose. Sink into the contest, into the gifts, into the moment that would name Athens. Poseidon went first, the earth shaker, lord of the seas. He approached the rocky Acropolis, the high point of the settlement. He raised his trident, the three-pronged spear that commanded oceans, commanded earthquakes, commanded the very earth itself. With all his might, with all his power, he struck the rock. The stone split. A fissure opened, and from solid rock, water gushed forth. A spring, a fountain, water where there had been none. A miracle. Divine power made manifest. The people gasped, were impressed. Water was precious in Greece. Springs were valuable. This was clearly divine favor, clearly a magnificent gift, clearly worthy of a god. But then they tasted it, and their faces fell. Their hope turned to disappointment. Salt water. The spring was salt water, undrinkable, useless for crops, good only as demonstration of power, but providing no practical benefit. It was impressive, but not useful, magnificent, but not helpful, divine, but not what they needed. Breathe, as Athena takes her turn, as wisdom responds to power. Athena stepped forward. She did not raise a weapon, did not strike the earth, did not demonstrate raw power. Instead, she knelt, touched the soil gently, and planted something, a seed, a single seed. That was all. No thunder, no earthquake, no dramatic display. Just a seed, placed in earth, ordinary, simple, quiet. But then it grew, sprouted, rose, matured. In moments, magic, but subtle magic, practical magic, useful magic. And it became an olive tree, the first olive tree in Attica, perhaps the first in all Greece. It stood, proud, strong, its silver-green leaves rustling in the breeze, its roots digging deep into rocky soil, and it bore fruit, olives, dark, ripe, ready for harvest. Athena stood, gestured to the tree, and spoke. Her voice calm, reasonable, wise. This tree will give you food, oil for your lamps, fuel for your fires, wood for your buildings, shade in summer, beauty year-round. It will live for centuries, will provide for generation after generation. Plant more, cultivate them, and you will prosper. This is my gift, not power, but prosperity, not spectacle, but sustenance, not drama, but lasting benefit. Choose, rest, as the mortals choose, as the decision is made, as Athens is born. The people looked at the salt spring, impressive but useless, then at the olive tree, humble but invaluable. The choice was clear, obvious, easy. They chose Athena. They chose wisdom over power, chose prosperity over spectacle, chose practical benefit over dramatic display. They chose right. And the city was named Athens, in her honor, in recognition of her gift, in gratitude for her wisdom. Poseidon was furious, raged, flooded the Thriasian plain, sent earthquakes, made his displeasure known. But eventually he accepted the decision. Athens was Athena's city, her domain, her responsibility, forever. And Athens became the greatest city in Greece, the center of philosophy, of democracy, of art, of culture, of everything that made Greece glorious, magnificent, remembered. The Parthenon rose on the Acropolis, a temple to Athena, one of the greatest buildings ever constructed, a testament to her worship, to her patronage, to her blessing. The city produced Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, the greatest philosophers, the finest thinkers, the wisest minds, all under Athena's protection, all in her city, all benefiting from her blessing. Wisdom's city, wisdom's children, wisdom's legacy. Athens gave the world democracy, the idea that people could govern themselves, could make their own decisions, could choose their own leaders. This was Athena's gift too. Wisdom shared, wisdom distributed, wisdom empowering not just the elite but everyone. Revolutionary, radical. Athena's doing. Breathe deeply as we turn to Athena's other role, her other great domain, warfare. Athena was not just goddess of wisdom and craft. She was also goddess of war, of battle, of combat. But her warfare was different from Ares, different from the blood-soaked god of violence. Athena's war was strategic, planned, purposeful. Ares loved battle for its own sake, loved violence, loved bloodshed, loved the chaos, the madness, the berserker rage that turned men into animals. He was battle fury, battle madness, battle lust. He fought to fight, killed to kill, destroyed to destroy. No purpose, no strategy, no wisdom, just rage, just violence, just chaos. Move calculated. Every action move calculated. Every action purposeful. Every battle part of a larger war. Part of a comprehensive strategy. Part of a wise plan. She won because she thought, because she planned, because she was smarter than her enemies. And because she was smarter, she always defeated Ares, always, in every conflict between them, in every competition, in every confrontation. Strategy defeated rage, intelligence defeated violence, wisdom defeated fury, always, every time, without fail. Sink into a famous example. A story of divine conflict, of brother and sister at war. During the Trojan War, the gods took sides. Athena supported the Greeks, loved them, championed them, helped them constantly. Ares supported the Trojans, loved battle, loved the conflict, loved that the war continued year after year. Endless fighting, endless bloodshed, endless glorious violence. They fought each other, not directly, not God against God. That was forbidden, but through proxies, through heroes, through mortal champions. Athena guided the Greeks. Ares encouraged the Trojans, back and forth, for 10 years, neither able to overcome the other completely. balance, stalemate, eternal conflict. But then, Athena decided, the war must end. 10 years was enough. The siege must conclude. The prophecy must be fulfilled. Troy must fall. And she devised a plan. The wooden horse, the Trojan horse, the most famous stratagem in all of warfare. It was Athena's idea, Athena's plan, Athena's wisdom made manifest. Rest as the plan unfolds, as cunning defeats strength, as the war ends. The Greeks would pretend to give up, to sail away, to abandon the siege. They would leave behind a gift, a massive wooden horse, an offering to the gods, a monument to their defeat, hollow, empty, harmless, to open the gates, to let the army in, would-be warriors, the finest Greeks, Odysseus himself, ready to emerge when night fell, to open the gates, to let the army in, to end the war, through deception, through trickery, through Athena's wisdom. It worked. The Trojans brought the horse inside, celebrated their victory, drank, feasted, lowered their guard, and that night, the Greeks emerged, opened the gates. The army poured in. Troy burned. The war ended. The Greeks were victorious. All because of Athena, her plan, her strategy, her wisdom. Ares had kept the war going for 10 years with his love of violence. Athena ended it in one night with her superior intelligence. Wisdom defeated fury. Strategy defeated rage, as it always did, as it always would, as was proper, as was right, as was ordained by the very nature of reality. The second part draws to a close. Athena has competed, has won, has claimed her city, has demonstrated her wisdom, has proven her supremacy over violence, over pride, over all who would challenge her. She is established, recognized, supreme in her domains. Wisdom, strategy, craft, civilization, all belong to her, all flow from her, all reflect her glory. Breathe. Let the stories settle. Let the lessons sink deep. Let the goddess watch over you. Sleep pulls stronger now, more insistent, more irresistible. Let it come. Let yourself go. Into the third part, or into dreams. Whichever arrives first, whichever offers peace. The boundary blurs, dissolves, story becomes dream, dream becomes story. Part 3 awaits. But so does unconsciousness, so does rest. Let go. Part 3. Heroes, protection, and the goddess's favor. Deeper still, beyond conscious thought, beyond active awareness. You exist but barely, a whisper of consciousness in infinite dark, safe, held, protected. Breathe, like the stillness between thoughts, like the pause between heartbeats, almost imperceptible, almost nothing, almost gone. Athena did not only contest with mortals or fight other gods, she also helped, guided, protected, championed certain mortals, certain special individuals who embodied her values, who demonstrated wisdom, intelligence, strategic thinking. These became her heroes, her champions, her chosen ones. Let the stories of these heroes unfold. Gentle, distant, dreamlike. Perseus was one of the first, son of Zeus and Danae, born of golden rain, born of divine seed. He was destined for greatness, for heroism, for legend, but he needed help, needed guidance. needed divine favor. And Athena gave it. Perseus was tasked with an impossible mission: kill Medusa, the Gorgon, the monster with serpents for hair, whose gaze turned men to stone, who had once been beautiful, had once been mortal, until Poseidon violated her in Athena's temple. And Athena had punished, not Poseidon, but Medusa, transformed the victim into a monster, made her hideous, deadly, cursed, banished her to a remote island, where she would be alone, forever, hunted, eventually killed. It was unjust, cruel even, but Athena did not apologize, did not relent. Medusa had been violated in her temple, her sacred space. Whether willing or not, whether victim or accomplice, the temple had been defiled. Athena's sanctuary had been polluted. Someone had to pay. And since Poseidon could not be punished, Medusa was... Such was divine justice. Such was the way of gods. Harsh, absolute, unforgiving. And now Perseus would kill her, would slay the monster, would bring Athena her enemy's head, and Athena would help, would guide, would make it possible, sink into the quest, into the impossible task made possible by divine wisdom. Athena appeared to Perseus, gave him guidance, told him where to find the Hesperides, the nymphs who guarded the garden at the edge of the world. They had tools he would need, magical items, divine artifacts. Without them, he would fail, would die, would turn to stone like all the others who had tried. But with them, with Athena's guidance, with divine favor, he could succeed. Perseus found the Hesperides, obtained the items. Hermes' winged sandals, to fly, to move faster than sight. Hades' helm of invisibility, to approach unseen. A magical wallet, to carry the severed head without looking at it, without being turned to stone by its gaze even in death. Like looking into still water. Like looking into still water. Like gazing at one's reflection. He could use it as a mirror, could look at Medusa's reflection without looking directly at her, could approach, could strike, could kill, without ever meeting her gaze. Wisdom defeating curse, intelligence defeating magic, strategy defeating monster. Perseus flew to Medusa's island, approached invisible, found the Gorgon sleeping, surrounded by stone statues, men who had come before, heroes who had tried and failed, adventurers who had looked directly at her, had met her eyes, had been transformed in an instant, forever frozen, forever stone, forever dead. Perseus looked only at the shield, at the reflection, saw Medusa in mirror image, raised his sword and struck. One clean blow, severed her head, killed the Gorgon, completed the impossible task. All because of Athena, Athena's guidance, Athena's tools, Athena's wisdom. He placed the head in the magical wallet, flew away, escaped before Medusa's sisters could revenge themselves, returned triumphant, victorious, grateful. And he gave Medusa's head to Athena, presented it to the goddess, a gift, a trophy, a proof of divine favor. Athena took it and placed it on her shield, the aegis, added it to the center, so that Medusa's gaze, even in death, would serve her, would protect her, would turn enemies to stone, the victim becoming weapon, the punished becoming tool. forever serving the goddess who had cursed her. Such was Athena's nature: practical, strategic, efficient. Nothing wasted, everything used, even vengeance, even punishment, even justice served her purposes. Rest, as we turn to another hero, another champion, another mortal blessed by Athena. Odysseus was perhaps her greatest favorite, king of Ithaca, wisest of the Greeks, most cunning, most strategic, most intelligent. He was everything Athena valued, everything she championed, everything she represented: intelligence over strength, strategy over violence, wisdom over power. He was, almost, her mortal equivalent, her human reflection, her champion perfect. She loved him, in her way, not romantically, never that. Athena did not love in that manner, but as a teacher loves a brilliant student, as a master loves a worthy apprentice, as a goddess loves a mortal who embodies her values. She protected him, guided him, helped him constantly, made him her special project, her chosen one, her favorite. During the Trojan War, Odysseus was the Greek strategist, their planner, their thinker, while Achilles provided strength, while Ajax provided courage, while Agamemnon provided authority. Odysseus provided intelligence, strategy, planning. He was invaluable, essential, the one who made victory possible. And Athena guided him, whispered wisdom in his mind, helped him devise strategies, helped him navigate complexities, helped him win the wooden horse, the strategy that ended the war. It came from Odysseus, but inspired by Athena. She planted the idea, guided the planning, ensured the execution. It was collaboration, divine wisdom working through mortal intelligence, the perfect partnership, the ideal relationship between goddess and hero. After the war, Odysseus's journey home took 10 years. 10 years of wandering, 10 years of suffering, 10 years of trials. Poseidon persecuted him, punished him for blinding Polyphemus, for daring to harm the sea god's son. The journey should have taken weeks, instead took a decade. Curse, persecution, divine vengeance. But Athena helped, throughout, constantly. She could not stop Poseidon, could not directly oppose her uncle, but she could guide Odysseus, could whisper wisdom, could help him survive each trial, each monster, each temptation. She was always there, always watching, always helping, her favorite, her champion, her Odysseus. When he finally reached home, found his house full of suitors, found men trying to steal his wife, his kingdom, his life. Athena helped him then too, disguised him as a beggar, helped him plan, helped him reveal himself at the right moment, helped him slaughter the suitors, helped him reclaim everything. Wisdom guiding vengeance, intelligence enabling justice, strategy achieving restoration. Breathe deeply as we explore why Athena chose to help these heroes. What made them worthy? What earned divine favor? Athena's heroes shared certain qualities, certain characteristics, certain virtues that she valued above all others. They were intelligent, always intelligent, not necessarily the strongest, not necessarily the bravest, but smart, clever, quick thinking, able to outthink their problems, able to strategize their way through difficulties. Intelligence was essential. Without it, Athena had no interest. They were strategic. They planned ahead. thought about consequences, considered multiple approaches. They did not charge blindly into danger, did not rely on strength alone, did not act on impulse. They thought, planned, prepared. This made them valuable, made them worth helping, made them Athena's kind of hero. They honored her, prayed to her, sought her guidance, built her temples, gave her offerings, acknowledged her supremacy, respected her authority. This was important, essential even. Athena helped those who honored her, who recognized her power, who showed proper respect. Pride was acceptable, even encouraged, but only if accompanied by respect for the divine, by recognition that gods were superior, that human intelligence, however great, was still less than divine wisdom. They were civilized. They built cities, created laws, established order. They represented civilization, culture, progress. They were not barbarians, not savages, not wild men living by strength alone. They were citizens, lawmakers, builders. They created, rather than destroyed, built, rather than burned. This made them worthy, made them valuable, made them worth Athena's time, her effort, her divine favor. Sink into more stories, more heroes, more examples of Athena's guidance. Bellerophon was another, tasked with killing the chimera, the monster, part lion, part goat, part serpent, breathing fire, killing everything it encountered, terrorizing the kingdom. He could not defeat it on foot. On the ground, he needed an advantage, a way to strike from above, beyond the flames, beyond the monster's reach. Athena appeared to him, gave him a golden bridle, magical, divine. With it, he could tame Pegasus, the winged horse, born from Medusa's blood when Perseus killed her. Wild, untamable, divine. But the golden bridle would work, would allow control, would give Bellerophon his advantage. He tamed Pegasus, rode the winged horse, attacked the chimera from above, beyond its flames, beyond its claws, beyond its power. He killed it, succeeded, became a hero, all because of Athena, her gift, her guidance, her wisdom made manifest. Later, Bellerophon grew proud, too proud, decided to fly to Olympus itself, to join the gods, to claim divine status, to transcend his mortal nature. This was hubris, unforgivable hubris. Zeus sent a gadfly. It stung Pegasus. The horse bucked. Bellerophon fell from the sky, fell back to earth, survived, but crippled, blind, broken. He lived out his years in misery, in pain, in punishment for pride, for daring to claim more than his due. Athena did not save him, did not help him. He had violated the principle, had shown hubris, had ceased to be worthy. So she abandoned him. Let him fall. Let him suffer. Such was divine justice. Such was the price of pride. Heracles, Hercules, Zeus's greatest mortal son, was helped by Athena repeatedly, throughout his 12 labors, throughout his endless trials. She did not love him, did not favor him particularly. Hera hated him too much for Athena to openly champion him. The politics of Olympus were complex, delicate. Athena had to maintain her relationship with Hera, could not openly oppose the queen. But she helped Heracles anyway, subtly, carefully, strategically. She gave him the castanets, the noisemakers that scared the Stymphalian birds into flight, made them vulnerable to his arrows. She advised him on how to approach Atlas, how to trick the Titan into helping retrieve the golden apples, how to take back the sky without force, through wit, through strategy, through Athena's specialty. She was present when he captured Cerberus. When he descended to Hades, she guided him, protected him, ensured his safety in the underworld. She was always there, always helping, always ensuring that Zeus's greatest son succeeded, proved his worth, achieved immortality, became a god in the end. Her help was instrumental, essential, though never acknowledged, never celebrated, never spoken of openly. She worked behind the scenes, as wisdom often does, quiet, effective, essential but invisible. Rest now, as we turn to Athena's protection of cities, of civilization itself. Athena was patron of many cities, Athens, obviously, but others too, cities that honored her, that built her temples, that valued wisdom, strategy, craft, civilization itself. She protected them, blessed them, ensured their prosperity, their security, their success. She taught city planning, how to organize streets, where to place temples, how to design defenses, how to manage water, how to create beauty, function, order. The well-planned city was Athena's gift, her design. Her wisdom applied to human habitation. She encouraged laws, governance, justice systems, courts, judges, the whole apparatus of civilized judgment, of rational determination of right and wrong, of orderly society. This was her domain, her gift, her contribution to human progress. Without Athena, humans would be barbarians, living by strength, by violence, by chaos. With her, they could be citizens, living by law, by reason, by wisdom. She protected these cities in war. When enemies attacked, when barbarians threatened, when chaos approached, Athena defended, not through violence like Ares, not through raw power like Zeus, but through strategy, through clever defense, through tactical superiority. Her cities won, not because they were strongest, but because they were smartest, best planned, best organized, best prepared. Wisdom defeating strength, strategy defeating violence. Athena's way, always, forever. Breathe deeply as the third part ends, as Athena's role becomes clear, as the goddess reveals her true nature. Athena was not just a goddess who demanded worship, not just a deity who punished disrespect. She was a helper, a guide, a protector, for those who earned it, for those who demonstrated the values she cherished: intelligence, strategy, wisdom, civilization. She helped them, genuinely helped them, made their lives better, made their achievements possible, made them heroes. This made her popular, beloved, more than many gods. People wanted her favor, sought her blessing, built her temples, not just out of fear, but out of genuine appreciation, out of gratitude. Meant winning unwinnable contests, meant success, meant achievement, meant surviving impossible odds, meant winning unwinnable contests, meant becoming legendary. She was the goddess people prayed to before battle, before important decisions, before difficult tasks, before anything requiring intelligence, strategy, wisdom. She was useful, valuable, essential, the goddess who made a difference, who changed outcomes, who helped mortals achieve their potential. And in return, they honored her, built her the finest temples, created the most magnificent art, wrote the most profound philosophy, all in her city, all under her protection, all blessed by her wisdom. Athens became the intellectual center of Greece, of the ancient world, of Western civilization itself, all because of Athena, all flowing from her blessing, all demonstrating her power, her wisdom, her value, her essential role in human advancement, in cultural achievement, in civilization's rise. Sleep pulls at you now, strongly, irresistibly. The third part ends. Athena watches over you, gray eyes seeing everything, understanding everything, protecting everything. You are safe under her gaze, safe in her wisdom, safe in her care. Let go. Let sleep come. Let the final part approach. Or let dreams take you now. Either way, you are protected. You are guided. You are safe. The boundary dissolves completely. Story, dream, sleep, all become one. Part 4 waits. Or nothing waits. Only rest. Only peace. Only the gentle end of consciousness. Let it come. Part 4. Legacy, transformation, and the eternal wisdom. The deepest darkness. The final depth. Where even the whisper of consciousness fades. Where you are and are not. Where existence itself becomes questionable, optional, barely real. Breathe. If this can be called breathing, this barely perceptible exchange, this minimal function, this almost nothing sustaining almost everything. Athena endured, as wisdom endures, as truth endures, as intelligence endures, long after strength fades, after passion cools, after everything else is gone. Wisdom remains. Understanding persists. Knowledge continues. Athena, eternal, unchanging, forever. Let the centuries flow, like water over stone, eroding, transforming, but leaving the essential unchanged. Through the classical age, through Greece's golden period, Athena was supreme. Athens was the center of the world. Philosophy flourished under her protection. Socrates questioned. Plato wrote. Aristotle systematized. All in her city, all under her gaze, all blessed by her wisdom. The greatest minds, the finest thoughts, the most profound insights, all came from Athens, from Athena's city, from wisdom's home. Democracy was born there. The idea that citizens could govern themselves, could make decisions collectively, could rule through wisdom rather than force. This was Athena's gift too, her blessing, her contribution to political thought, revolutionary, radical, world-changing. The idea spread, influenced everything, created the foundation for modern government, for human freedom, for collective wisdom. All from Athens, all from Athena, all from the goddess who valued intelligence above all. Art flourished. The Parthenon was built, the most perfect building in history, every proportion calculated, every measurement precise, every detail designed for maximum beauty, maximum harmony, maximum perfection. It was mathematics made marble, philosophy made architecture, wisdom made visible. Athena's temple, Athena's home, Athena's monument. To this day it stands, ruined, damaged, but still magnificent, still perfect, still Athena's rest, as Greece gives way to Rome, as the world transforms, as wisdom adapts. Rome conquered Greece, took everything, the art, the philosophy, the culture, the gods. Athena became Minerva. The name changed. Some aspects shifted, some qualities emphasized differently. But the essence remained. Wisdom, strategy, craft, civilization. The Romans understood, needed, valued what Athena represented. Minerva was worshipped across the empire. Her temples dotted the landscape, from Britain to Africa, from Spain to Asia. Everywhere Rome ruled, Minerva was honored, the goddess of wisdom, of strategic warfare, of crafts and skills, essential to civilization, essential to empire, essential to everything. Roman generals prayed to her before campaigns, seeking strategic advantage, seeking tactical brilliance, seeking the wisdom to win. Roman craftsmen honored her, seeking skill, seeking excellence, seeking perfection in their work. Roman statesmen invoked her, seeking wise counsel, seeking intelligent policy, seeking governance that worked. She was everywhere, essential, beloved. The Roman festival of Quinquatria celebrated her. 5 days in March, the month sacred to Mars, to warfare. But these 5 days belonged to Minerva, to strategic warfare, to wisdom in battle. Schools closed, students gave gifts to teachers, craftsmen honored their patrons. It was a celebration of intelligence, of skill, of everything Minerva, everything Athena, everything wisdom represented. Sink deeper as Rome falls, as Christianity rises, as the world transforms again. Rome fell, eventually. The empire crumbled. Barbarians swept across Europe. The old order collapsed. Christianity spread, became dominant, became everything. The church declared the old gods demons, pagan idols, false deities. Worship was forbidden. Temples were closed, converted to churches, or left to crumble. Statues were destroyed, broken, melted, used for other purposes. The gods were erased, forbidden, forgotten. For 1,000 years, the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, Athena was gone, or nearly gone, remembered only in texts, in manuscripts copied by monks, who preserved the old knowledge, the old stories, not because they believed, but because they valued learning, valued wisdom, even pagan wisdom, even goddess wisdom. They copied Plato, Aristotle, Homer, Virgil, and in doing so, preserved Athena, kept her alive, kept her story, her wisdom, her essence, available for later, for when the world would remember, would rediscover, would return. And it did. The Renaissance came, rebirth, rediscovery. Classical learning returned. Scholars read the old texts. Artists studied ancient sculptures. Philosophers wrestled with ancient questions. And the gods returned, not as beings to worship, but as symbols, archetypes, ideals, art. Breathe as wisdom returns to the world, as Athena emerges again, transformed but recognizable. Artists painted Athena, showed her in her armor, her wisdom, her power. Botticelli painted her, Rembrandt, Rubens. The Renaissance and Baroque masters loved classical mythology, used it to explore human themes, divine themes, truth itself. Athena appeared again and again, gray-eyed, wise, armed but not aggressive, powerful but not violent. The ideal of wisdom, made visual, made beautiful, made real again. Sculptors carved her in marble, in bronze, copies of ancient statues, new interpretations. She appeared in fountains, in town squares, in palaces, in museums. The goddess of wisdom, back again, honored again, remembered again, never worshipped, not as before, but respected, valued, recognized as representing something important, true, eternal. Writers invoked her. Shakespeare mentioned her. Milton wrote of her. The Enlightenment philosophers used her as symbol of reason, of rationality, of intelligence defeating ignorance, of wisdom guiding humanity. She was the patron of their project, the goddess who represented what they sought: knowledge, understanding, truth gained through thought rather than faith, through reason rather than revelation. Athena, Minerva, wisdom, by any name, their goddess, their ideal, their aspiration. The age of reason was Athena's age. The Enlightenment was her enlightenment, when philosophers declared that reason could solve problems, that intelligence could improve society, that wisdom could guide humanity to perfection. They were channeling Athena, embodying her values, pursuing her ideals, whether they knew it or not, whether they would admit it or not. They were her children, her followers, her heirs. Rest as we move through the modern age, as we approach now. The modern world is complicated, complex, difficult, but it is also Athena's world. More than ever before, knowledge is valued, education is universal, intelligence is celebrated, strategy is essential, civilization is everything. We live in cities, follow laws, create art, build culture. All of this is Athena's domain, Athena's gift, Athena's legacy. Universities are her temples, libraries are her shrines. Every school, every academy, every place where knowledge is pursued, where wisdom is valued, where intelligence is developed. These are sacred to Athena, blessed by her, part of her eternal worship, even if no one says her name, even if no one prays. The pursuit of knowledge, the development of wisdom, the cultivation of intelligence. This is worshipping Athena, honoring her, keeping her alive. She appears in popular culture, in movies, books, television, sometimes accurately, sometimes not. Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson series features her prominently. The goddess of wisdom, mother of Annabeth, strategic, intelligent, demanding excellence, expecting greatness. She is not warm, not nurturing in traditional ways, but she is fair, just, rewarding those who demonstrate intelligence. Wisdom, strategic thinking, the qualities she values, the qualities she represents. Video games feature her: God of War, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Civilization series. She appears as ally, as advisor, as representation of wisdom, of strategy, of intelligent gameplay. Players invoke her, seek her blessing, try to embody her values, win through intelligence rather than force, through strategy rather than violence. They are playing Athena's game, learning her lessons, becoming, in small ways, her heroes, her champions. The symbol of the owl, Athena's sacred bird, represents wisdom universally now. Education logos, university mascots, graduation decorations, scholarly publications. Everywhere, the owl, eyes that see in darkness, vision that penetrates obscurity, knowledge that illuminates ignorance. This is Athena's bird, Athena's symbol, Athena's presence. In the modern world, subtle, pervasive, eternal. Breathe deeply, as all the ages converge, as all meanings layer, as we understand what Athena means, what she teaches, what she offers. Athena represents the power of intelligence, the value of strategy, the importance of wisdom. She teaches that you don't have to be the strongest to win, don't have to be the most powerful to succeed. You can win through cleverness, through planning, through outsmarting your opponents. This is empowering, liberating, essential, especially for those who lack physical power, who cannot win through force, who must rely on intelligence, on wit, on wisdom. Athena says, you can win too. You can succeed. You can be mighty through your mind. She represents civilization itself, order over chaos, law over violence, reason over passion, culture over barbarism. She is the goddess who makes cities possible, who makes society work, who makes humans more than animals. She is essential to everything we value, to everything that makes life good, safe, meaningful. Without Athena, without wisdom, without intelligence, without strategy, we would be animals, savage, brutal, lost. She represents the value of skill, of craft, of excellence, of mastering something, of being good at what you do. Not just adequate, not just acceptable, but excellent, perfect, the best. She demands this, expects this, rewards this. She is the patroness of everyone who takes pride in their work, who pursues excellence, who refuses to accept mediocrity. Craftsmen, artists, scholars, anyone who says, I will be the best at what I do. They are Athena's children, Athena's followers, Athena's inheritors. She represents the power of remaining virgin, of remaining autonomous, of refusing to be defined by relationships to men. She was never wife, never mother, never defined by others. She was herself, complete in herself, sufficient in herself. This is radical, even now, especially for a female deity. She says, you don't need a man to be complete. Don't need marriage to be valuable. Don't need children to be important. You can be whole, yourself, sufficient, alone. This is powerful, important, revolutionary, then and now. Sink now into the final understanding, the deepest truth, the eternal wisdom. Athena teaches that intelligence matters, that wisdom counts, that strategic thinking wins. In a world that often celebrates strength, power, force, violence, Athena says, no, mind matters more. Thought triumphs over strength. Wisdom defeats violence, always. Eventually, in the end. She teaches that civilization is precious, that order must be maintained, that chaos must be defeated, that humans must rise above animal nature, must create culture, must build cities, must establish laws, must pursue excellence. This is hard work, constant work, eternal work. But it is necessary, essential, the only thing that makes life worth living, a truly human, truly good. She teaches that you should honor the gods, respect divine power, never claim equality with the divine, never challenge what you cannot defeat. Pride leads to destruction. Hubris leads to fall. Know your place. Acknowledge your limits. Be humble before power. This is wisdom. This is survival. This is smart. Let your breathing fade to nothing, to barely perceptible whispers, to the edge of existence, somewhere. If you choose to believe, on Mount Olympus, in a throne room of gold and marble, there sits a throne to the right of Zeus, and on that throne sits Athena, gray-eyed goddess, wearing golden armor, holding a spear, the aegis on her arm, Medusa's head at its center, turning enemies to stone, an owl perched nearby, watchful, wise, seeing all. She advises Zeus, counsels him, guides him, makes his rule wiser, better, more just. She is the voice of reason, speaking to power, tempering force with intelligence, guiding strength with strategy, making divine rule bearable, acceptable, good. And she watches humanity, watches us struggling, building, creating, trying to be civilized, trying to be wise, trying to rise above. And sometimes, she helps, whispers wisdom, guides decisions, inspires intelligence, makes us better, smarter, more strategic, more wise. Or perhaps the throne is empty, has always been empty, and Athena exists not on a mountain, but in the human mind, in every intelligent thought, every strategic decision, every moment of wisdom, every pursuit of excellence, every creation of civilization, every triumph of intelligence over force. She lives there, in those moments, in those choices, in that wisdom, and she is real as any god has ever been, because she represents something true, something necessary, something eternal. Let consciousness fade completely. Let thought dissolve. Let everything go. Athena teaches us that intelligence matters, that wisdom counts, that strategy wins, that civilization is precious, that excellence is possible, that humans can be more than animals, more than brutes, more than limited. We can think, plan, create, build, achieve, excel. We can be wise. This is her gift, her blessing, her eternal legacy, the gray-eyed goddess, born from Zeus's mind, wearing golden armor, holding a spear, protecting cities, guiding heroes, teaching wisdom, forever, eternal, unchanging in her essence, changing in her forms, but always, always, wisdom, strategy, intelligence, excellence, civilization, Athena, forever. Let the story end now. Let it fade into perfect darkness, into complete silence, into the deep sleep that has been waiting, patient, inevitable, eternal. You have heard the story of Athena, from impossible birth to divine childhood, from contests won to heroes protected, from cities blessed to civilization guarded, from ancient worship to modern symbol. You know her now, understand her, recognize in her the value of intelligence, the power of strategy, the importance of wisdom, the necessity of civilization, the pursuit of excellence, the radical autonomy of remaining yourself, complete, sufficient, whole. Breathe one final time, deep, slow, last, and let everything go. Let consciousness cease. Let sleep claim you completely, total, perfect. The story is finished. The goddess has spoken. The wisdom is imparted. And you need only rest, sleep. Athena watches, gray eyes seeing everything, understanding all, protecting you in your sleep, guiding you in your dreams, teaching you even in unconsciousness, the eternal goddess, the immortal wisdom, the forever truth. Sleep. The owl wings silent through darkness. The spear stands ready but unused. The armor gleams though no light shines. Wisdom persists though all is dark. Athena endures, forever, eternal, unchanging, wise. Sleep. The end and the beginning, forever, like wisdom itself, like knowledge, like truth, eternal, unchanging, forever teaching, forever guiding, forever. Athena, rest well, dream deep. The goddess watches, the wisdom endures, the truth remains. Sleep.